Welcome back. Well, next we're going to be doing Ripley water, easy Ripley water. This is a technique I've used for years to do simple water. If you're not used to doing water, this would be a great one to master. First, you wet the paper with a paper towel, and you go vertically all the way up and down and horizontally up and down to get good even coverage. Then you take blue like we're doing here, and you just go top to bottom. And you want to go vertical on this for starts, even though the painting's going to be horizontal. And you just go back and forth. And all those white areas you see, they're good to have. They form part of the ripple of the water, so it's good to get it. And it's good to get good up and down strokes. The worst thing you can do in doing this is stop in the middle. So you want to continue the stroke from top to bottom, go right past the border. So once it's all dry, you turn it on to horizontal now, and you'll see already water starting to form. Now what I'm doing with the dark indigo color is I'm going back and forth with a big flat brush, and much like the mark of Zorro back in the 60s, it's a long stripe. In other words, it's a capital Z. And you go back and forth nicely. And up front, like we are, the stroke should be bigger, of course, because the water's closer to us. And you just go along, keep going, and play with it, just work it away. I've got it going pretty good speed here, so get a good sense of what's going on. And then you can do some straight lines too. You don't have to do the marker Zorro every time. But it's a good one to keep in mind with, and keep it moving back and forth. And already you get to see, the tightness of the stroke gives you the feeling of water. And you can also mix this with other colors as you're doing it to get a bit of a wet on wet effect as well. But just to keep it simple for today, I just wanted to show you how to do this so that you can master it yourself and not be so intimidated next time you do a water scene, a seascape of some sort. With fishing boats and the like. A lot of people have trouble with waves. It really intimidates them. I know my students are intimidated by it. So when I show them this technique, it really helps them, and it helps to conform into something more interesting. And if you pull back from your chair, from your easel, you'll see how the effect of this is going nicely. And in the middle there, it looks more like fog, so we're going to leave that alone. And we'll sort of get into a bit of a horizon line, or sorry, not a horizon line, but a seashore. And we'll treat the light area there like an incoming fog. And as you can see, the strokes are getting tighter and smaller as we go up the paper. Very straightforward. And then you would take a wet big flat brush with just water, and you give it a light stroke, and you just blends it all together, takes the edges away. And also it helps when you're going to do reflections of what's in the water. This softens it, makes it a little bit more water-like, we'll say. Now here we're going to use white gouache, which is a mixture of acrylic and watercolors. And you may notice my hand shaking there. I have a little bit of essential tremor, so I deal with that when I paint, but it seems to calm down when I paint, so that's a good thing. Anyway, so the watercolor with the white gouache, I use that to do highlights in the water. And that's what you'll see next, I believe. I'm doing a narration here rather than a live broadcast. Makes it a little easier. See where the old brush is. There's using a maul stick. What that is an old piece of wood, or in my case, it's an old car antenna. It helps you to paint over wet areas, to get to areas you're going to get to without rubbing your hand against everything. And in this case, I'm putting in a lighthouse to help give us something to reflect in the water. So I can show you how that works. And just do a little square there, a little triangle there. And I'll put a little red roof on it and make it look like something. Also, we'll give us a little bit of landmass to help make it look more realistic as opposed to a lighthouse sitting in the middle of the ocean. Here's a bit of reflection. And you put the strokes in between the dark strokes. As I'm putting in some highlights right in the water itself. I use my finger at the ends to soften it. And again, it's where the sun hits it. You get paint all over you eventually. I know when I paint, especially if I'm doing a pretty elaborate painting, I end up at the end of the painting, my hands and arms covered in paint. And I sometimes go to the store and forget all about it, get back to the gallery and wonder, I can't believe I went outside like that. So we're just putting in some highlights here just so I can make the water look interesting. But already we've only been doing this for about 5-6 minutes, and we've already created what I think is a pretty good rendition of water with some reflection in it. So it doesn't have to take you all day to do this. You can just do it nice and evenly. And there's my little top of it. Soften it down a bit so it's not so striking. So don't forget, when you start this off, you start vertically so that the paper will run, and then you turn it horizontally so you can finish it off into a regular painting. Here I'm splattering white paint on it, and it will help the water glisten. I do that with all my, well, I do that with every painting actually, not just water paintings, but it's especially effective with water because it takes the edge off the painting, and it also gives it some shimmer. But that's what you want some shimmer in the water because there's all kinds of things floating around. Here we're just putting in some landmass. Nice and simple. It would be good to practice this on an ongoing basis just to get the hang of it. I know I make it look easy sometimes, and try my best to make it as simple as I possibly can so that you can enjoy painting as much as I do. Here we go, a little bit of highlighting going on. Put in a couple of sailboats just for fun. Show what that might look like off in the distance. Now I'll put in 2 of them. And well, those I put in the base of the boat. It's a little darker, of course. And then I'll put in the sail for the second one. And the water's going down, the water paint's rather going down rather thick for some reason. Try to correct it a few times here. It takes it right away as opposed to just dabbling with it. So I'll put it in again to make it stronger. But that's all you need to do for a sailboat. It's just a couple of strokes with it. So there's no real detail you have to put in there. Your brain will fill it all in. Once it sees that white sail, the brain will know what to do with it. There you go, it looks very nice. And that's about it for the water, the easy Ripley water. And hopefully you enjoyed all this. And if you have any questions, just give me a call. Thanks.